For this week's Wellbeing Wednesday, I want to talk about the concept of automatic thoughts, of core beliefs. Our brains design habits and routines so that we're able to free up space to be perceiving what's happening around us. Our brains are constantly trying to make sense of the world around us and what is happening. And while this can be good, for instance, why we know that we drive home on autopilot, we don't have to think every single day about where we're driving, we want to make sure that we're paying attention enough so that we don't get in an accident. Additionally, there are times where we start to develop habits and the ways of perceiving things that may not always be helpful to us. You may have two people that have an interaction with someone and they think that the person ignored them because they didn't like them or they did something wrong, versus immediately thinking that, well, maybe the person didn't hear me. And so many times those habits that we create in our brains that then can become facts to us, although they're not always grounded in truth, can many times also have an impact on our level of stress, on our level of anxiety. So it's very important for us to be taking that time to really think about, what are these thoughts that are automatic for us? What are these core beliefs that become part of our identity, the way that we see ourselves, the way that we see the world? For a few quick, easy steps to be able to really unpack that and help us to be able to reduce stress, to reduce anxiety, and change the way that we may see the world. First, it's just becoming aware of our beliefs. Recognizing, are there certain habits and patterns that we tend to fall into when something happens around us? Do we blame ourselves? Do we tend to think that other people are against us? Are there other negative perceptions that are a core part of those beliefs that have an impact on our level of stress and our view of the world? Then it's going to also be to take a deeper dive to understand really what is underlying those beliefs. Do we have a bad interaction with someone and someone treated us poorly, and so consequently now we believe that that's how everyone is going to be interacting with us? Is the fact that something happened that had a negative impact, we want to try to protect ourselves, but now that impairs our ability to really engage with the rest of the world, to do things that could be fun because we're afraid of taking risks? From there, we want to evaluate our beliefs, be checking in with ourselves. Is this based in fact, or is this based on a habit or on a fear and anxiety that I have? From there, we want to find an alternative. What's a way that we could reframe that thinking? That instead of just automatically assuming, for instance, that someone may be doing something for a negative reason, could there be an alternative explanation? Can we replace that current thought with a more positive thought, or at least an alternative, and be able to try out that new belief to see if it could potentially fit and have a positive way to help reduce our stress and help us to look at the world with it in a different light? So as we know that we are targeting what are those automatic beliefs, what are those core beliefs, where have they come from, and how can we reframe them, we can see that we can reduce our anxiety, we can see improvements in our mood. Many people can feel less stressed, less anxious, less depressed, and engage with the world in a different way, which can then also help to possibly benefit our interpersonal relationships and finding joy in even the small things throughout the day. Be well.